Hey guys, it is Mr. King again. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Today we are going to make a beautiful mountain range here, which is going to be really cool. It's going to have a foreground of this beautiful kind of mist or water up front, and then we're going to have a mountain range in our midground, and then we're going to have a background of our beautiful sunset sky, or if you want to do like a nighttime sky, or even a daytime one, that'll be fine too. So let me show you how this works and I'll let you know what the materials you will need. So after I tell you the materials, why don't you give the video a pause, collect everything you need, and then yeah, you can jump right into it. So first up, you're gonna want a thick piece of paper. Now I'm using watercolor paper here, but if you can't get your hands on watercolor paper, good alternatives are just regular white cardstock would be really good. Oak tag would actually work, even if it's just the oak tag color, that kind of light tan. Or if you don't have either of those, either the inside brown side of like a cereal box or a box of crackers, or the corrugated cardboard from one of those packages that's arrived for the holidays, the blank inside of it will work fine for this too. The other thing you're going to want to have is crayons. I happen to be using Crayola's construction paper crayons, but I just like, because they're really vibrant and bright, regular Crayola crayons or any crayons at all will work fine for this. If you, for some reason, don't have crayons, oil pastels are cool too, and so that's an important one. The other thing you're going to want is a permanent marker, okay? I would also recommend that you use a pencil before the permanent marker. You do the marks there. And finally, the last things you will need are going to be a brush and some water. This is regular water in here, even though it's a little tinted green at this point from all that I've done with it. And then a brush. If you don't have a brush, you could always just use a cotton ball. And then finally, the last thing you want is some sort of water-based marker. I'm using Mr. Sketches here, but Crayolas are fine, RoseArt, any of those water-based markers will work absolutely fine. All right, so let's get rolling. So first thing you're going to want to do is we're going to actually make the mountain range first, the big mountains at the front of our mountain range. Now I'm going to work immediately in marker to speed up this video, but I want you guys for sure to start in pencil. So these lines that I do in the marker, I want you to do those in pencil first, okay? So what I like to do is actually like to start from the middle of the side of my page here, and I'm going to make my first mountain. Now my first mountain here that I'm going to draw is just going to be an upside down V. Bring it back down. I could go a little lower than the midway point, that's fine. My next mountain I'm going to add on, I'm going to start a little bit before I ended my last one. And this time, let's make this one a double peak. So I'm going to go 1, 2, come back down. This one I'm going to end a little higher. And then my last mountain range here, I'm going to do a single peak. I'm going to make it a little taller than the other two. And I'm going to bring that right off the edge of my page. Now my marker is starting to run a little dry here, kids, but I think I'm just going to work with it anyway. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another set of mountain ranges between the mountains that I did here before. So these mountains are going to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to do a double peak right here, do a single one right here, maybe one more over here. Just goes off the edge of the page. And then let's do one more over here. Okay, and the last mountains that I'm going to do a couple that are between these peaks, just little bitty ones. And that's just to add a little more visual interest and make it look like there's a whole bunch of mountains all like one after the other. Okay, nice, got my mountain ranges done. Okay, so that's all I need this marker for, but get rid of that thing. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my crayons here. So now I'm gonna pick out some colors of crayon that I like. And what I need to do is pick the color for the tips of my mountains. So you can be creative with this. You know, people will think, oh, I gotta do white because it's gonna be snow on the top. No, you can do whatever you feel like. So if you feel like putting the tops of your mountains as blue, do it. So I'm gonna pick this beautiful sky blue right here, and I'm gonna make that the tips of my mountains. So I'm going to peel a little of my wrapper away, and I'm just going to go to town on this and add some blue to the tops of every one of my mountain peaks. Now I do recommend you do the same color as each mountain peak so that you have a nice little bit of unity here, and it feels like, you know, although these are really creative and funky colors, they still make sense, and so they'd be at the same altitude together. So I'm going to go up and do all of my mountaintops in this beautiful blue. I'm going to bring them down, the blue down, pretty close to the same level. Okay. And the nice thing is the kind of cragginess of the crayon marks, you know, kind of looks like stone, which is nice. And we gotta do this one. Whoops. And if you do like me and you grip your crayons too hard, you can break them. But don't worry now, I just have two smaller crayons. Not a big deal. The only downside is just a little less crayon to grip onto. All right. Now, one of the things that a lot of kids, I think, forget about is how good crayons are at blending. And that's one of the reasons why I want to do my mountains in crayons, because the next color that I choose, I'm not just going to go down below it, I'm going to actually blend it together. So I'm going to go to my kind of pinkish red here, and I'm actually going to color part of the way up into my blue here. So I'm going to blend my colors together. I'm going to go almost back up to the top and bring my colors down a little bit. So my next layer is going to be this red. These mountains already look very patriotic. Got that red, white, and blue on here. I like it. All right, so maybe you guys can yell into the screen and tell me what color I should use next. I'm thinking, let me try some green. So I'm gonna do my last of my kind of pinkish red here. And then I'm gonna switch over to my green. Oops, I forgot one. It's okay, you can make mistakes like me. There, okay, now I'm gonna go to my green. Which I think looks very nice, high contrast to the red. Complementary colors. So my mountains are looking very kind of crazy, Dr. Seuss-like in a way, because they're very vibrant, weird colors. Let's go with, let's just finish it off in some purple. And the thing I want to point out is that once we've done the purple with the tip of our crayon, we're going to do the purple again, but not with the end of our crayon. You'll see. I'm actually going to do this. I want to make sure that whatever crayon I choose to finish on, I'm actually going to peel the side of the crayon off right here. And if I want to, I could switch colors one more time for this part, so I could do that to be a little different. Let's go to this even darker purple right here. Looks almost the same, but there's a little darker. And I'm actually going to use a crayon that I've taken the wrapper off of, and I'm going to use the side of my crayon now. And I'm going to rub that on the bottom here. And I think that makes a beautiful kind of misty bottom to your foreground here. So just keep rubbing until you feel like you got it where you want it. You can go right ahead and head over some of the colors you already did. I feel that's pretty good right there. Okay, so now I got my beautiful misty foreground. I've got my mountaintops right here, and they're all ready to go. Now it is time for my beautiful sky. So I'm a sucker for sunsets, so I think I'm gonna do a sunset scene again. I might punch the color up just a little bit here. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna start with my brightest color, my yellow. And I'm gonna go yellow, and I'm gonna bring that yellow from the very top of my page down. And I'm gonna bring it almost as far down as I want. I'm just going to bring it a little bit short. It's going to kind of hit the mountaintops, and then it's going to stop. So there'll be a little white gap right there, and that's okay. So get your yellow on there, if you're using yellow. If you want to make like a beautiful nighttime scene, then I would say a blue would be a good place to start, and then you could move to purple. So I'm going to go yellow, and I'm going to move to orange. I'm going to go from the top. I'm not going to go as far down with my orange, though. I'm going to kind of stay a little short. Okay, and then I'm actually going to pink. And it's hard to see the pink. It's going to look almost the same as the orange. And you might not even really notice it too much at the end, but trust me, it does make a difference to use the pink in here, because it changes kind of the qualities of the orange and a little more complexity of color. And then finally, let's do the red. And we'll do a little band of red on the top. So you can really do kind of as many colors here as you want, but you got to go from lighter to darker. That's the key. And then here comes the very last step to finishing our work, which is I'm going to take my brush and my water, and I'm just going to paint water. And here's the important part. You're going to work from the top down. Do not go from the bottom up, because it really won't do much. Go from the top down. And what you're going to do is it's going to loosen the ink up that's in the markers there, and we're basically hacking the markers, and we're turning them from a ink tool for just putting ink on paper to more of an ink paint. And the cool thing is that that crayon that we put on before, we don't need to worry about our mountains. It turns into a resist. So the wax in the crayon keeps the marker from getting into those parts of the paper, and it resists the ink. So we're going to get this sunset that just makes the mountains extra vibrant. And you can actually pull that color all the way down from the very top of your page all the way to the bottom. Okay, and I think that where the orange kind of gets in between the purple here at the bottom really looks pretty. Okay, and that's really it. You just finish it out. You paint up or paint it as far as you can. I like to do the entire paper. If you want to stop short of that, you can. But it's nice. You can't really, I mean, you don't want to pour water on top of it, but you really don't need to worry about getting the paper way too wet. The one thing I will warn you about is if you're using a really thin paper, you're going to want to use as little water as you can. If you're using a thicker cardstock watercolor or corrugated cardboard or something like that, then you can get this pretty wet. Your paper will buckle, so if you can see, mine's bending a fair amount, but once it is dry, it will flatten out a fair amount more, and then the little bits of rippling that are left, you can just kind of manually bend back the other way. And that is it. So you're going to end up with this really pretty, see, mine are obviously a little different. Wow, I did almost the same colors, didn't I? So you can see, I think very much the same way. But anyways, I think it looks nice. You can add any details you want. You want to throw a little chateau house on top right there. You could have drawn that in the first place and put it on. You want to put a little like mountain climber going up your mountain or something like that. You can, a Yeti. It's all up to you. But whatever you do, enjoy it, have fun, experiment. And if you make a mistake, then just give it another shot. There's no one who's going to make you feel bad for trying it again, especially not me. So I hope you guys have a great time, and I will see you soon. See you later, guys.